Imagine you are in an emergency room. A patient has lost a dangerous amount of blood. Doctors need a transfusion immediately. There is blood available, but there is one problem. Not every type of blood can safely enter every person's body. Give the wrong blood, and the immune system can attack the transfused red blood cells. In severe cases, this can become life-threatening. So what makes one person's blood different from another's? Why can an O-negative person donate red blood cells to almost anyone, while an AB positive person can receive red blood cells from almost anyone? And why are some blood groups extremely common, while others are surprisingly rare? Today we're going inside one of the most fascinating systems in the human body, blood groups. What exactly is a blood group? When we say someone has a blood group like A positive, B negative, O positive, or AB positive, we're describing specific molecules found on the surface of their red blood cells. These molecules are called antigens. Think of an antigen as a tiny identification badge attached to the surface of a red blood cell. Your immune system constantly checks these molecular badges. If it recognizes them as belonging to your own body, everything is fine. But if unfamiliar antigens enter your bloodstream, your immune system may identify them as foreign. That's where blood group compatibility becomes extremely important. The two systems you will hear about most often are the ABO system and the RH system. Together, they give us the familiar 8 major blood types: A positive, A negative, B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative, O positive, and O negative. But let's understand how these letters actually work. The ABO blood group system, the ABO system, is based mainly on 2 antigens, A antigen and B antigen. If your red blood cells have A antigens, your blood group is type A. If they have B antigens, you're type B. If they have both A and B antigens, you're type AB. And if they have neither A nor B antigens, you're type O. But there's another important part of the story: antibodies. People with type A blood have A antigens on their red blood cells, but their plasma contains antibodies against B antigens. People with type B blood have B antigens but antibodies against A. People with type AB blood have both A and B antigens, so they normally don't have anti-A or anti-B antibodies in their plasma. And people with type O blood have neither A nor B antigens, but their plasma contains both anti-A and anti-B antibodies. This sounds complicated, so let's make it incredibly simple. Imagine your red blood cells are wearing shirts. Type A wears an A badge. Type B wears a B badge. Type AB wears both badges. And type O wears neither badge. Your immune system is trained to recognize the badges that belong to your body. So, who can give blood to whom? But before we go further, here is an exciting announcement for you all Vital Codes family. Want to explore blood groups in even more detail? We've created a complete PDF ebook on blood groups, covering blood types, donation compatibility, the RH factor, pregnancy, blood group history, worldwide distribution, inheritance, and fascinating blood facts. It's designed with simple explanations and visuals to make everything easy to understand. The ebook is available through the link in the description. So if you want to go deeper into the fascinating science of blood, check it out and continue learning with Vital Codes. Now let's continue. Who can give blood to whom? This is where blood groups become really interesting. For red blood cell transfusions, the basic compatibility rules are O negative red blood cells can generally be given to people of all A, B, ORH blood types in emergency situations. That's why O negative is often called the universal red cell donor. But there's an important detail. O negative people can receive O negative red blood cells. They cannot safely receive ordinary AB, or RH positive red cells. O positive red blood cells can generally be given to O positive, A positive, B positive, and AB positive. Why? Because O red cells don't have A or B antigens, and the recipient is RH positive. A negative red blood cells can generally be given to A negative, A positive, AB negative, and AB positive. A positive red blood cells can generally be given to A positive and AB positive. B negative can generally be given to B negative, B positive, A B negative, and AB positive. B positive can generally be given to B positive and AB positive. AB negative red blood cells can generally be given to AB negative and AB positive. And finally, AB positive. AB positive red blood cells can generally be given only to AB positive recipients. But AB positive has another fascinating advantage. People with AB positive blood can generally receive red blood cells from all 8 major blood groups. That's why AB positive is often called the universal red cell recipient. The easiest way to remember it here is a simple rule. For red blood cells, O can donate broadly because O red cells have no A or B antigens. AB can receive broadly because AB plasma normally lacks anti-A and anti-B antibodies. And the Rh factor adds another layer. If someone is Rh negative, they generally should receive Rh negative red blood cells when possible. If someone is Rh positive, they can generally receive either Rh positive or Rh negative red blood cells, depending on the situation. So if you're trying to memorize the system, remember O negative DEC universal red cell donor, a B positive DEC universal red cell recipient. But don't confuse these terms with universal donors and recipients for every blood component. Because blood isn't just one thing. Blood is more than just red cells. Blood contains several major components. There are red blood cells, which transport oxygen, white blood cells, which help defend the body, platelets, which help blood clot, and plasma, the liquid portion that carries proteins, electrolytes, hormones, nutrients, and other substances. And here's something surprising. Plasma compatibility works differently from red cell compatibility. In plasma transfusion, the antibodies in the donor's plasma matter. This is why AB plasma is considered the universal plasma donor, while O plasma can only be broadly given to type O recipients because it contains anti-A and anti-B antibodies. So when someone says O negative is the universal donor, they are talking primarily about red blood cells, not every component of blood. This distinction is extremely important. What is the Rh factor? Now let's solve the mystery behind the plus and minus sign. That little plus or minus after your blood group refers mainly to the Rhd antigen. If your red blood cells have the D antigen, you're Rh positive. If they don't, you're Rh negative. So someone with A positive blood has A antigen plus Rhd antigen. Someone with A negative blood has A antigen but lacks Rhd antigen. This is why there are 8 common combinations: A positive, A negative, B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative, O positive, and O negative. Why does blood type matter during pregnancy? The Rh system has another important medical connection. Imagine an Rh negative mother carrying an Rh positive baby. During pregnancy or childbirth, fetal blood can sometimes enter the mother's bloodstream. The mother's immune system may then become sensitized to the Rhd antigen and produce antibodies against it. In a later pregnancy with another Rh positive baby, those antibodies can cross the placenta and potentially attack the baby's red blood cells. This condition is called hemolytic disease of the fetus and newborn. Fortunately, modern medicine has an effective preventive treatment involving Rh immune globulin, commonly known as anti-D immunoglobulin. This is one reason blood group testing is an important part of pregnancy care. Where did blood groups come from? Now let's travel back more than a century. At one time, doctors knew blood transfusions could sometimes save lives. But they also saw something terrifying. Sometimes a transfusion worked, and sometimes the patient's blood reacted violently. The reason wasn't understood. Then, around the beginning of the 20th century, Austrian scientist Karl Landsteiner began studying the reactions between different people's blood. In 1900 and 1901, Landsteiner identified the basic ABO blood groups. His discovery transformed medicine. Suddenly, doctors had a scientific explanation for why some blood transfusions were compatible and others were dangerous. Landsteiner later received the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1930 for his work on human blood groups. But the story didn't end there. In the 20th century, researchers discovered many additional blood group systems. One of the most important was the Rh system, identified through research in the late 1930s and early 1940s. Today, scientists recognize hundreds of blood group antigens across many blood group systems. So ABO and Rh are extremely important, but they are only part of the much bigger blood group universe. Which blood group is most common? Here's another fascinating question. Does everyone around the world have blood groups in roughly the same proportions? No. Blood group frequencies vary considerably between populations and regions. In many populations around the world, O positive is among the most common blood types. A positive is also common in many populations. But the exact distribution changes depending on ancestry and geographic region. For example, O blood is particularly common in many indigenous populations of the Americas. In many European populations, A and O are common, while B is generally less frequent. In parts of Asia, including several South and Central Asian populations, B blood occurs at relatively higher frequencies compared with many European populations. And Rh-negative blood is much more common in many European populations than in most East Asian populations. This regional variation is one reason blood banks need a constant supply of different blood types. A blood type that is common in one population may be much less common in another. Why is blood type inherited? You inherit your blood group from your parents. You inherit it from your parents. The ABO blood group is determined by genes. For example, a child receives one ABO gene variant from each parent. The A and B variants are generally codominant, meaning that if someone inherits A from one parent and B from the other, they can have type AB blood. The O variant is generally recessive. That's why two parents with certain blood types can have children with different blood types. And this leads to another fascinating fact. Your blood type can provide clues about genetic inheritance. However, blood typing alone cannot establish paternity with certainty. Modern genetic testing is much more precise. Can your blood type change? Normally, your blood type stays the same throughout your life. But there are rare situations where blood group testing can become complicated. For example, certain diseases, treatments, or especially hematopoietic stem cell or bone marrow transplantation can result in a person's blood-forming system being replaced by donor-derived cells. In such situations, blood group testing can become more complex. So although your blood type is usually a lifelong biological identity, medicine can sometimes create extraordinary exceptions. Some incredible blood facts here are a few facts that might surprise you. An average adult has roughly 4 to 6 liters of blood, although it varies with body size and other factors. Your blood is constantly moving. Your heart pumps it through a network of blood vessels that, if placed end to end, would stretch for an enormous distance. Red blood cells are specialized for one major job: carrying oxygen. They contain hemoglobin, the protein responsible for transporting oxygen and giving blood its characteristic red color. And here's another interesting fact. Blood isn't always the same shade of red. Oxygen-rich blood is typically bright red. Blood with less oxygen is darker red. Despite a common myth, human blood is never naturally blue. Veins may appear blue or greenish through the skin because of how light interacts with skin and tissue. Why blood type matters. Your blood type may seem like nothing more than a letter and a plus or minus sign on a medical record. But behind those tiny symbols is an extraordinary biological system involving genetics, immune defenses, evolution, and molecular recognition. Two people can look completely identical on the outside, yet their red blood cells can carry completely different molecular signatures. And those tiny differences can determine whether blood from one person can safely help another. That's why blood donation matters. Somewhere, right now, someone may need the exact type of blood that another person is capable of donating. One person's blood can become another person's chance to survive. So the next time you see your blood group written as A+, B, O+, or AB, remember, it's not just a label. It's a biological identity, one that connects you to genetics, medicine, evolution, and potentially even to the person whose life you could help save. This is the incredible science of blood. And sometimes, the smallest differences in our cells can make the biggest difference in someone's life.